It's 4:30. This is WKYT This Morning. A tree fell on the roof of an Estill County house while the owner was inside. More on the storm damage and today's forecast. It's just ahead.
Police call it an attempted murder, but the girlfriend of the accused says it was self-defense. We'll hear from her coming up.
And a local restaurant has been shut down after someone says they found a mouse in their food. Find out which restaurant ahead on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you, and it must be Wednesday, June 22nd, and we're glad you're with us on WKYT This Morning. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's see what's happening with the weather. Are we having more chance for storms today, Michael?
That's what it looks like. Once again, it's going to be back-to-back days with showers, thunderstorms, some of this, possibly some severe weather later on today. We already have a shower outside right now as it's rolling right across this boundary. Boonville, Beattyville getting in on the mix. Jackson, more than likely, you'll be next in line. Buckhorn should move just to the north of you, but if it does clip you, it'll be the southern extent of this. Nothing really to worry about early this morning. The view back toward the north and the northwest. That's a nasty view. They're having severe weather already this morning, and it's heading our direction, and it will ride this front right into our region. I'm going to talk about when you can expect those storms coming up in just a few short minutes.
And we'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Micah. A home in an Estill County neighborhood appears to be hardest hit by a severe storm that moved through there.
A part of a tree fell on that home yesterday. It punctured the roof, and things only got worse from there. Our Monique Blair talked to the homeowner, and she continues our First Alert Weather Team coverage this morning.
The lightning hit, then it was like a big bang.
This one here got blown that way. That bolt hit it hard.
This is what Jay Beckner's home looked like just moments after a storm blew through Turner Avenue in Irvin Tuesday evening.
I mean, it was kind of scary because we didn't know what the big bang was at first.
Neighbors watched out their windows and they tell me they saw the lightning strike this tree, but Beckner was actually inside his home, just inches from the wall where the tree landed.
It sounded like a VW bug dropped on the house as I saw a huge lightning flash and heard it all at once and felt it. Felt like I was on a trampoline bouncing.
Now, after the tree fell on this home, the people who live here had another headache because the tree punctured a hole in the roof.
As soon as it starts raining, each time you see it pouring in the closet.
Beckner says he's just had to watch as the rain fell directly into his home.
The worst part was having to move all the computers out of the way and stuff, clothes getting rained on. The rain's supposed to be outside the house, not inside, so that was the worst part.
Add to that, Beckner's yard also flooded after the storm.
And this poor man, his backyard looked like a pond.
But Beckner says all of this can be fixed, and what matters is that nobody was hurt. In Estill County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
A storm also caused some damage in Lexington. Part of a large tree fell yesterday near a home on Haley Pike, landing against an SUV parked in a driveway. And over on Royster Road, a large limb fell. Some people were already cleaning it up by the time we got there. No injuries were reported in Lexington because of yesterday's storms. Now remember, you can track storms when you're away from the TV with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download that for free in the app or Google Play stores.
Police in Richmond call it attempted murder, but the girlfriend of the man charged in the case says it was self-defense. Police say 18-year-old Jimmy Skinner shot Sammy Isaacs from a car along Turpin Drive late Sunday night. They say Skinner's girlfriend and the couple's baby were also in the car at the time. As Garrett Weimer tells us, Skinner's girlfriend says he was just trying to protect himself and his family.
Alicia Malacote says her boyfriend and father of her child should not be in jail. Police are calling it attempted murder.
It was self-defense over his daughter and us. I mean, that's really what it was.
Malacote says she was in the car with Jimmy Skinner, their 2-year-old daughter, and a couple of friends late Sunday night on Turpin Drive when someone approached their car and threatened them.
And was threatening to shoot the car up with all of us in it, which, you know, that's my daughter. And then he walked away and walked back towards the car with his hand in his pocket and was pulling stuff out, and I seen something shiny, and so my boyfriend took his gun, shot up in the air.
Malacote says they didn't find out until later that the man was hit by one of those bullets. Jimmy Skinner is at the Madison County Detention Center here, charged with wanton endangerment and attempted murder. His girlfriend, though, wants to see those charges reduced or dropped.
It's been really scary. My daughter's done nothing but holler for her dad, don't know anything that's going on, and I don't know how to explain it to her. I mean, we're supposed to go see him tomorrow, and I don't know to take her or not.
Malacote also says she's angry the incident has been portrayed as a drive-by shooting. She says it wasn't. In Richmond, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And police say the man who was shot, Sammy Isaacs, is in critical condition and relying on a ventilator to breathe. They say he was shot in the right lung.
Investigators are asking for help in finding a hit-and-run driver who they say hit a 10-year-old boy in Pulaski County. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office says the boy was playing with his brother near Rock Lick Creek on Monday night when their grandfather was working nearby. Investigators say no one saw the boy get hit by the car.
Probably playing in the creek and somehow came up on the roadway and was struck on the roadway.
Investigators say they are looking for a red four-door car driven by a woman that was seen in the area around the time of the crash. The boy has been identified, but his family has asked us not to use his name. Neighbors say the boy was often with his grandfather helping him farm. A deadly crash and a Frankfort road shut down for nearly 8 hours. The crash happened yesterday about 10 o'clock yesterday morning at the intersection of Versailles Road and Lyons Drive. Frankfort police say a car pulling out of a shopping center hit a tractor trailer. Investigators say 90-year-old William Howard died and a woman in the car with him was injured. Versailles Road was closed in that area until 6 o'clock last night, so investigators could reconstruct the crash.
Today, Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin has scheduled to make an announcement about the state's Medicaid program. His office says the governor will announce the proposed waiver application that will transform the program. The news conference will be held at 9:30 this morning at the state capitol rotunda. Kentucky Attorney General Andy Beshear is also scheduled a news conference for this afternoon. He's expected to talk about Governor Bevin's recent actions to dissolve the University of Louisville Board of Trustees and to change the Kentucky Retirement Systems Board. Well, Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis has asked a federal court to throw out her appeals in her case. It stems from her refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples for religious reasons. Davis' attorney says that the appeals are no longer necessary because a new law in Kentucky does not require a county clerk's name to be on the marriage licenses.
We're very thankful that the legislature has passed and the governor has signed legislation that protects not only Kim Davis, but accommodates the religious convictions and conscience of all the clerks in Kentucky.
Davis spent 5 days in jail last year after she defied a judge's order and still refused to issue the licenses.
A Lexington Woman's Clinic is asking the state Supreme Court to overturn a lower court's motion that stopped abortions from being performed there. According to our news partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader, EMW Women's Clinic says in its request to the Supreme Court that the recent ruling has basically caused it to shut down. Last winter, Governor Bevin's administration filed a lawsuit against the clinic asking a judge to force it to close because it did not have an abortion license. A state judge denied the governor's request in March, but last week the State Court of Appeals reversed that decision. The Fayette County Health Department has shut down a Lexington restaurant near UK's campus. A sign on the front door of Red Bang Bang Chinese restaurant on West Maxwell says the health department closed it yesterday. We were not able to reach anyone with the health department to find out why, but in recent days a Facebook post has been shared saying someone claimed to have found a dead mouse in food bought at the restaurant. In a post on its Facebook page, Red Bang Bang managers claimed the customer bought the food, left, then returned about 10 minutes later, claiming to have found the mouse. Restaurant owners say the customer later asked for $25,000 from them. They also say they reached out to the health department for an immediate inspection. 4:39 is the time on WKYT this morning, and we're just getting started on your Wednesday.
Well, sunscreen is, of course, a summer necessity, but are you choosing the kind that protects you best?
And we're looking at that front right over us. More storms on the way. As you can see that back toward the north and northwest. This could be a damaging wind event, mainly for the north of us, but it's heading toward our region. I'm going to show you when you can expect that coming up next. We get on Defender Radar Network early this morning and a shower out and about. It's starting to fall apart on the northern extent of this through Beattyville. So Jackson, you're really not going to get much out of this. It looks like it's going to continue to fall apart, but Southern zones of Breathitt County, that's your best bet here through the next 30 to 45 minutes. Buckhorn, more than likely, you at least get some sprinkles. I think the heaviest portion stays just to the north of you. Dice, if it sticks together, Dice, you'll actually see this here in about 30 to 45 minutes. Nothing to be concerned about this morning, afternoon, that's a different story, is we do have strong, potentially severe thunderstorms in the forecast once again today. Now, yesterday it was mainly that roughly I-64 corridor and southbound. Southern zones, you'll still have a chance, but the main action, the bulk of it, really is going to be that I-64 corridor and northbound. That's your best bet for strong to potentially severe thunderstorms. And not only just severe thunderstorms, but damaging wind event will be ongoing in northern portions of Ohio Valley. Will that make its way into northern Kentucky? That's something to watch out for later on today. I would say anywhere from about 1 p.m. to about 8 p.m. That is your best bet to actually see strong to severe storms. We'll still get some rain early this morning in some zones, but the main action really comes later on this afternoon off into the evening. Your rainfall forecast, this is still pointing toward the northern and northeastern half, looking like it's going to get some pretty good numbers out of that, 1 to about 3 inches of rain. And the rest of us, central, southern zones, it all depends on where does this line of storms set up. Because if it sets up right over you, you're going to get one after another. But if it doesn't, then you're going to get bits and pieces of storms here and there. So it really depends on where it sets up to the north and northeast. That's where I expect the majority of the rain for the next couple of days. So your 7-day forecast looks like this today and tomorrow. We will have strong thunderstorms. There's no doubt about that. Today there will be some warnings out and about, especially some severe thunderstorm warnings. Still can't rule out any other opportunity for some severe weather, whether it be a tornado, whether it be hail, whether it be flash flooding. Those are relatively low, but they're still there in the forecast. And then we hit Friday and Saturday, guys. Friday and Saturday looks much better, but the heat will be cranked up at 91 degrees on Saturday.
All right. Hello.
There we go.
When that rain comes, it is here, you know.
Right.
All right, Micah, thank you so much. 4:45 on WKYT. Protecting your kids from the sun is very important, but not all sunscreens are created equally.
Yeah, here's what to look for the best protection in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
As we approach summer, we'll all be spending lots of time outdoors. A little sunshine feels great, but the sun's strong UV rays can do major damage if we're not careful. And unfortunately, many of us are using sunscreen incorrectly. That's according to the American Academy of Dermatology. So what should we look for? For the best protection, we want to look for labels that say broad spectrum, water resistant, and an SPF of 30 or higher. Now, it takes your skin 15 minutes to absorb the sunscreen, so be sure to apply before going outside. And most adults need the amount of about a shot glass full of sunscreen to cover all exposed areas of skin. And don't forget your neck, face, ears, and feet. Finally, you want to reapply sunscreen at least every 2 hours after swimming or after lots of sweating. Remember, not all sunscreens are created equal. Consumer Reports recently found that almost half of the sunscreens it tested failed to meet its SPF claim. They also found that natural mineral-based products performed far worse than synthetics. For a list of the top performing sunscreens, visit momseveryday.com. I'm Cheryl Hackett.
For these tips and more, go to WKYT.com. Click on Moms Every Day.
Hey, great to have you with us this morning. 4:46 is the time, bright and early Wednesday on WKYT.
Wildfires continue to rage on out west, but there is some good news for firefighters. We'll tell you what that is when we return on WKYT this morning. They were not 6 months.
And welcome back at 4:49. Here is developing news this morning. South Broadway in Lexington is closed from Red Mile to Angliana Avenue after a gas leak. The road closure is going to cause a major traffic impact during the morning rush hour.
Here is a look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam at Broadway and Red Mile. Even if you don't take South Broadway to work, you could still run into some backups because there will be heavier traffic on streets like South Limestone and Versailles as drivers try to avoid South Broadway. We'll continue to have updates for you throughout the morning.
Well, some good news for firefighters battling large wildfires in Southern California. It appears an intense heat wave will finally be letting up a little.
Good news for them, especially firefighters, hoping that this will give them a chance to make some progress in fighting twin fires near Los Angeles. Chris Martinez has the latest.
Firefighters have not been able to contain the two fires burning side by side near homes in the San Gabriel Mountains. Their combined size grew to more than 8 square miles Tuesday.
Both are continuing to burn in areas of the forest that have not burned in quite a number of years.
Firefighters are dealing with steep and rugged terrain in addition to sweltering heat. Nearly 800 homes in Duarte were evacuated, but so far none have been destroyed.
It started really kind of right up in that area there.
Flames forced John Fasana to flee on Monday, but he was able to return home.
Yeah, we're relieved just to check on things, just to make sure things are fine.
Other residents are still being kept away from their homes in the foothills, and some people are on standby to evacuate if the winds shift.
A subdivision in southern Utah was evacuated as a wildfire loomed less than a mile away. South of Albuquerque, New Mexico, some people were allowed to return home now that crews have a handle on a fire which destroyed 24 homes.
We're glad it's over for us right now, but, you know, there's still people that can't come back in.
There have been at least 6 heat-related deaths in Arizona, the latest a hiker from Germany. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Duarte, California.
Well, more than 20 wildfires are burning in parts of the Southwest.
Friends are remembering a young man who investigators think drowned while on the Kentucky River. State police say 18-year-old Keon Wickers was found dead Monday morning in a kayak not far from Buffalo Trace Distillery in Franklin County. The coroner says he is still waiting for a toxicology report, but a preliminary autopsy found Wickers' death was consistent with drowning. Wickers' best friend told us they had known each other for about 6 years.
You just need to learn who he is and what he was about to understand how much it hurts everybody. Because this was unexpected. And it actually hits me hard because the first time he went kayak canoeing was with me, and I didn't teach him how to flip over, and I take that to heart today. So,
in a Facebook post, the Frankfort Civil Air Patrol says Wickers was one of the group's original members, and they say he will be missed.
4 people now face charges after police say they found an explosive device in a Harlan County motel room. Police in Cumberland said they noticed a woman passed out on Highway 119. When they asked a man who was with her what was going on, police say the man told them they had just come from a room at the nearby Plaza Motel. Police went to the room and they say they found what appeared to be an explosive device inside a ball. They've charged 4 people with wanton endangerment.
Some Central Kentucky children enjoyed a fun night in downtown Lexington. Children's Charity Classic Week continued last night with a kids' jamboree. Children helped by the Children's Charity Fund of the Bluegrass got to play at the Explorium of Lexington before enjoying a pizza dinner from Joe Bologna's and a show at the Lexington Children's Theater. This is the 36th year for the Children's Charity Classic. Always a good time.
Oh, yeah.
WKYT, very
Great
proud.
event.
We're proud to be part of that here. 4:53, 7 before 5, and coming up, we'll have a look at some of the stories our news team is working on for you this morning.
We'll also have another look at your morning forecast. Stick around with us.
Welcome back in. It is 4:56 on WKYT.
It's time right now to take a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning. Today, a Kentucky accountant who spent most of the 6 years roaming the Appalachian Trail as a fugitive will find out how many years he'll spend behind bars. We'll have more on the sentencing of James Hammis ahead on WKYT this morning.
And we're going to be carefully watching weather today and tomorrow. More chances of strong storms. Let's check in with Micah.
Yeah, it'll be 3 consecutive days that we have at least the opportunity for severe weather. Yesterday, we had a few severe cells here and there. It wasn't really widespread, but we did have some very heavy downpours. Still seeing that flood warning down towards southern portions of Leslie County, and that makes your way off into southern Clay and also Barberville, well, just to the east of Barberville, and also off toward Bell County, mainly for that Harlan County area. But I do want you to focus one shower outside rolling through southern zones of Breathitt County. Buckhorn, you're at least getting some sprinkles out of this, but the heavier rain actually slides just to the north of you. And Dice, you'll be next in line here in about 30 minutes. The big front's right over us, and these storms will ride right along this front. It's almost like a roller coaster ride right into our region later on today. You will have a chance to rain during the morning hours, but it's that afternoon and evening we're going to be watching very closely for potentially some damaging wind gusts. We're going to be talking about that. I'm also going to focus in on tomorrow, too, with another severe weather threat coming up with another 2 hours of WKYT News.